Hey YouTube, yeah, just wanted to give a second update here since my last video. Yeah, tank's going strong. We're pretty much just completed the third month. You know, after almost 2 months of cycling. So yeah, pleased to say, like, you know, things are going good. Couple new things I wanted to talk about since the last video. But yeah, I guess I'll just start with my parameters. I mean, it's kind of what everyone wants to know right away for different things and people's tanks and what they do. But yeah, so for ALK, I am as stable as could be with all parameters. But for ALK, I'm right at 9. And I say right at 9, obviously each parameter fluctuates, you know, slightly, but, you know, taking the average there combined with the Trident and the Hannah checkers. So alkalinity 9, calcium in the 460s, probably low 460s, magnesium in the 1430s. And again, all stable. That's all being controlled and dosed with all for Reef. So it's my first time using the all for Reef. I mix it with the powder. I'm dosing 18 milliliters a day throughout the day in this tank, and that seems to just be working. You know, I don't want to, you know, change anything. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, everything's good. In terms of, you know, the other parameters like nitrates, I'm running them at 4.4. I think last video maybe they were pushing a little over the 10 mark. And then phosphates 0.09. And you know, I test weekly on all those with the Hannahs. Sometimes I'll just do an ALK test. You know, it's just kind of like for my own log notes, just to see where things are. I haven't done a water change actually in 2 weeks. You know, I was really repetitive on the 1 week maintenance with the water change. It's fine and all, but you know, I'm starting to push back to do every 2 weeks. You know, there isn't anything in here complaining. There's nothing wrong with doing a water change. I just figured I'd bump that down to 2 weeks instead of every week. What else? Okay, so yeah, as you could see, I've got a little like 9 watt UV there. So you know, one day, nothing big, but you know, the water was cloudy, and it wasn't bad cloudy, but you know, you could tell, like, hey, what's going on? And I let it ride for like a week, and it wasn't really getting any better. I wasn't going to do a water change. I figured it would just feed off the new nutrients from the salt water. So, I just figured, you know what? I'm not going to spend $600 on a UV. I'm probably only going to use once, but I didn't even really, honestly, I could have just wrote it out and probably would have cleared itself up. But I picked up that little 9 watt JUP-01 UV for $40, and in 1 day I'd had it all cleared up. So I just left it in there. It's not running. It hasn't run in, you know, a few weeks, but it's there in the event something goes wrong. Will it stay in there forever? No. You know, I'll probably have something encrust on that wall down the road, but man, you know, like, you could spend so much money in this hobby, and like, all you just want to do is clear up your water once or just see what happens. You know, and again, this is a newer tank, so I mean, the cloudiness could have been any sort of bacteria bloom, or, you know, I don't overfeed these fish or corals, so I mean, I know it's not due to overfeeding, but could have been anything. And like I said, 1 day, I let it run for 3 days, but in 1 day it was cleared. Honestly, in a couple hours it was pretty clear. And I haven't turned it on since. So I mean, hey, we're all good. And the water's pretty clear. I do run ozone on this. and I like it. It keeps my ORP, steady at like 300, a little over 300, and no complaints there. But yeah, what else? In terms of new, you could see probably in about a month's time, a little over a month, these two leptos, neon leptos here, toxic leptos, whatever you want to call them, they're gonna meet this week. So you can see great new growth in a short time. That tiger lepto is finally mounted to the black back, so I can't really, I'll try to get in here. But like it's encrusted on the back wall. So pretty excited about that. I'm hoping they all meet and have this cool little pattern. And then I don't know, a few other little additions. Again, some came from the downstairs tank, which is now all gone. Little I think it's a stylo. I can't remember. Horrible with names, guys. A couple new Galaxias there. This Avatar chalice, I actually cut and fragged some pieces of it. They were just kind of flopping over there, so I got the 3 end plugs. That's some Avatar, so they're doing awesome, growing and crusting. Another piece of the lepto in the middle, a purple or red Monty, a purple Monty, and then a Miami Vice chalice at the end there. But yeah, and then in terms of, I love the frog spawns and hammer, so I moved the 2 frog spawns up on this arm. The idea is to kind of make that arm a frog spawn arm. And again, just like just a different thing to do, right? I mean, everyone's got little gardens and hammer gardens and torch gardens, kind of doing this like rock arm garden. And then below it is the hammers. And, I really like how they're doing. Everything's growing, branching out for the branching ones. Looks good. Let me see if I can get the lens on here. I have an ancient Polylab lens, and it doesn't really fit these phones too well, but let me see if I could. Yeah. Sorry about that. 1 second. Yeah. So, yeah, you can see neon green hammer. Nice shroom in the back there. And I got this, picked this up at a local shop, this Mardi Gras bounce. Got that jawbreaker in the back. It's kind of small, but who cares? I mean, $50, I'll take it, And in the back, that was from the colony, or the size was like a softball. So I fragged the branches off that frog spawn, mounted it all to one rock, and I'll just piece that off down the road, and like the sky was part of it. So yeah, purple tip hammer. And then yeah, got that Lobo in the back there. He's new. Otherwise, I think this is a Dragon Soul Favia, I think, and then a Toxic one too. And then another chalice in the back. Have no idea. Again, these came from my tank downstairs, and I have horrible with names, guys. Horrible. Yeah, the Zoa Garden. I mean, everything's kicking butt in here. There's little babies growing all over the place. I really have to just contribute all of it to All for Reef. I mean, in my whole experience in reefing, like 15 years, it's been a mess leading up to this in some cases, but I ended up, prior to this, dosing 2-part. I had calcium reactors, the whole thing. And I really just wanted something easy. I really did. And I could tell you, right away, just try All for Reef. I may have an issue down the road, if this tank gets really demanding, I'm going to have to dose quite a bit. Maybe at that point I'll reevaluate and go back to 2-part. But right now it's perfect, and, I'm happy with that. I did do an ICP test to have just a baseline done last month, you know, everything's right in the middle. Everything's perfect. I think my aluminum was slightly high, and you know, everyone knows that if you're using like bio bricks in your sump, they leach out a little bit. But yeah, everything's on the money. Iron was slightly low, but what can you do? You know, why would you dose more iron when it's a trace element within all for Reef? I mean, these tanks go through ups and downs and balance themselves out. I'm not too concerned, but but yeah, looking good. Let me take the lens off here. Yeah, I'll check out the sump. I have to contribute. 0 algae in here. And for all of you guys out there wondering, you know, how can I keep algae out of my thing? Should I get a refugium and whatnot? I'm going to tell you, this algae turf scrubber doesn't matter. Do one yourself. Make it your own, whatever. But do one. And I mean, look at this. This is, I haven't scraped any of this off, but this is all nice and gunky in here. I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, I'm impressed. This schedule runs. Lights come on at 10 in here, and then they're off at 10 a.m. So full 12-hour schedule on here. And the display lights pop on around 1:30. So I mean, there's a good 3 hours or so of no lights anywhere. And that seems to work for me right now. So happy with that. And the only other thing I do, I run Roaphos in the Aquamax. And I think that just keeps everything balanced. I mean, not much else. Simple protein skimmer. And then the Claricy. I mean, can't go wrong with that. And again, the ozone I'm running is just a small little cheap Amazon deal. But I'll tell you, I went up... I probably went up 100 on that, and you know, low is good. Do it. Not, I did it. I think I started it on halfway, and man, you could just tell on the Trident map for that orb, you know, where it is. And I mean, I know by heart every day what this thing's going to do, but get a little carbon map from PetSmart there and just cut it out, because it does kind of, you get that like rainy smell in your room. And that's it. That thing runs, you know, no problem. Like, pretty easy. And then, I don't know, I might change this reactor. It's quite old. The media might have been old. You know, I'm not getting... If anything is wrong in this tank right now, for me, it's the pH. And it's not even bad. It's just me saying, oh, it could be higher. But my pH max is at, like, 8.18 on a good day. It hasn't been awesome outside, so I mean, I have the windows closed, but maybe 8.2 is the highest I'll get, which isn't bad. But I think if I get maybe a better reactor and some better media, I might have a better shot at bumping that up, you know, 0.5. But not a big thing. You know, I'm not like worrying about my SPSs. I only have one currently. And then, you know, this stylo over here. So, and who cares about the growth rate, right? I mean, as long as they're growing. And yeah, awesome. I mean, that's it. Everyone gets a little algae wafer, you know, every day. Or, sorry, an algae or seaweed in the clip. You know, a little variety of food, some pellets, but yeah, every day in terms of feeding these guys, they get a cube of mysis, or I love Reef Frenzy, or the herbivore version of LRS food. So there's a good variety in here, but I definitely don't overfeed. You know, it's either one or the other, and then like sometimes at night I'll just drop some pellets in there, but only enough for them to all eat it. Like, if something gets to the bottom, that's awesome. There's plenty of crabs in here, and you know, I'll chow down, and some shrimp, but you know, it's just enough. And then, oh yeah, only one other thing I do. There's some coral sprint, and then coral dust. Yeah, once a week, once every 2 weeks, I mix a little of both. 2 separate little containers right there on the left, and I just spot feed the zoas with the dust, and then with the sprint, the frog spawns, all the LPSs really, they get a little little treat. And that's kind of all I consider it, is a treat for them, right? I mean, these guys are feeding out of the water column just fine. I do have Reefroids, use that very occasionally, and then also Red Sea's AB+. But yeah, other than that, I mean, really happy with it. Everything looks cool. Got my little work table here coming along. I'm probably going to put a frag tank here and plumb it all in here one day. Yeah, pretty impressed. This feeder's cool. I've had this for a bunch of years. Just drop the food in there. Nice, slowly dispenses. Although they're trained to see me now, they all hover around and stick their noses in there. But yeah, just kind of another monthly update. All things well. I guess the biggest thing is just a little less water change, and parameters are still in check. What can I say? But yeah, a lot of credit due to the Algae Scrubber. So anyway, for those of you wondering, definitely pleased with it, and highly recommend. Okay, guys, let me know if you have any questions in the comments or anything like that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Take care now.